For 75 years, TWEC Electric Cooperative has delivered electricity safely, efficiently, and affordably to its members in central Minnesota. Since the first farm was connected in 1941 to the 8,000-plus members we serve today, TWEC Electric Cooperative has been about people working cooperatively to enhance the quality of life. What was life like before power was extended into the countryside? Without electric power, water was pumped by hand and heated on a wood stove. Clothes were washed on scrub boards. Cows were milked by hand. Life without electricity meant drudgery and darkness. Electricity in rural America didn't happen at the same time as it did in the cities. It simply wasn't profitable for the utilities because of low population density and rough terrain. But in 1935, Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared that, above all, farmers needed electric power, and at reasonable prices. He signed the Rural Electrification Act, allowing rural residents to bring electricity to themselves. Extending power into the country was difficult work. Digging holes, clearing brush, raising poles, and stringing wire, it was all done by hand. But one by one, as farms were electrified, it changed America. In the late 1930s, people in the rural areas of central Minnesota began to prepare for the coming of electricity. Paul Richter was named coordinator of local efforts to organize a rural electric cooperative, and in 1940, TWEC Electric Power and Light Association was incorporated. The first REA loan of $237,000 got things started. Once money was available for construction, there was a rush to get memberships. Not many farmers had the money to have their homes wired, so the co-op paid them to dig holes, clear brush, and in some cases, do their own wiring. The first TWEC Board of Directors was on hand on September 28, 1941, when the co-op's first substation near Verndale was energized. Directors were Earl Schultz, W.J. Tills, Lloyd Sapp, Otto Tappy, George Voss, Earl Chaffee, Matt Werkala, Boyd Conley, and Nick Schmith. By the end of its first month, TWEC had connected electric service at 170 farms. Living on one of those farms near Verndale was a young girl named Marion.
Then in the morning when my dad got up, and of course we went out to milk and then we had lights down there, by the barn, and then everybody wondered, you could see who got up early in the morning. It was kidding each other, but we were so happy to get electricity.
World War II nearly put a halt to all electric construction because of the lack of wire and other supplies. After the war, demand grew, and local electricians like Arnold Tyson saw firsthand how much this new hired hand was appreciated.
After hooking up people with dryers and electric ranges, then came in the barn cleaners. Then they came, and silo unloaders, and then the men got happy in the barn, So it was interesting. We made a lot of people happy.
By the end of the 40s, TWEC membership was growing strong, and linemen welcomed some advancements in equipment, like the post hole digger and two-way radio that arrived in 1949. That was also the year the cooperative built the headquarters building that still stands today on Highway 10 in Wadena. TWEC enlisted the help of local extension agents to help teach members about the many uses for electricity on the farm. Having power meant many changes, both small and large.
How that changed life in the house?
Oh, very much, because we could have ice cream for supper every day.
You could have ice cream.
It was the best thing that ever happened between farm kids and city kids. I know that electricity was. Yeah. It was a big equalizer, because you was two different classes of people,
But some members thought the whole idea of electricity was a pipe dream. Others were against having poles and wire on their property. And others were not so sure about some of the newfangled appliances.
He wanted my mother to have something handy in the kitchen, so he had ordered from Montgomery Ward an electric mixer. Well, she had it, I don't think, more than 2 or 3 days probably, and she decided it wasn't for her. So she decided to send it back. So she boxed it up and back to Montgomery Ward it went.
Through the 1950s and 1960s, the cooperative wired hundreds of miles of line without a single major accident. By 1964, the cooperative had connected 4,000 members with 1,600 miles of electric line and 4 substations. The bucket truck, added around 1965, was another major improvement for line workers. Throughout this time, Todd Wadena was blessed with dedicated directors and employees. Many of those who organized and built the cooperative from its infancy remained with the co-op throughout their careers, a testament to their commitment to the cooperative's mission. By this time, Todd Wadena itself had matured to become a trusted community asset, a true economic developer. But trying times were just around the corner. Having strong leadership at this time would prove to be critical. Mike Thorson, a young newcomer on the Todd Wadena board, joined the cooperative world in 1974. At this time, demand for power both locally and across the country began to outgrow supply. Todd Wadena experienced its first change in managers during this time as well, when Paul Richter retired in 1977 and turned over management duties to John Belgowan. Mike Thorson, who in 1978 was serving as Todd Wadena's representative on the board of Cooperative Power, and the new manager were among the cooperative leaders to feel the heat of controversy throughout the construction of Coal Creek Station and its 430-mile DC transmission line and towers through the heart of the state. The need for more generation and the vast potential of North Dakota coal was understood by most, but some landowners rebelled. Withstanding the controversy, Coal Creek Station was completed in 1980 at a cost of $750 million. The plant has undergone regular maintenance and upgrades to provide power to Todd Wadena and 27 other rural electric cooperatives 98% of the time over those 35 years. Coal Creek consistently ranks as one of the most reliable and cost-efficient plants in the country. Keeping an eye on energy efficiency, Todd Wadena initiated its dual-fuel heating program in 1980, one of the first load management programs in the state. An off-peak storage water heating program soon followed. Every year since, thousands of dollars are saved in electric demand costs due to members' participation in these programs. Todd Wadena also began to emphasize member communications during this time. A member newsletter was started, and member focus groups met on a regular basis. John Belgowan's leadership of the cooperative ended in 1987 when he accepted a position with the New Hampshire Cooperative, and Dale Hendrickson moved into the role and stayed until his retirement in 2009. In his 22 years at Todd Wadena, Dale managed steady growth, from a membership base of about 6,500 in 1987 to more than 8,500. The number of employees remained at about 30 through his tenure due to added efficiencies and technology improvements, including an automatic meter reading system. Robin Dagey, the cooperative's fourth and present manager, arrived at the cooperative during tough economic times. Robin was determined to continue on a path of increasing efficiencies to help offset rising costs. Robin's strong belief in paying the preparation price has enabled employees to keep abreast of changing technologies and maximize the benefits of improved equipment. To this day, the focus of all major decisions continues to be the member. Good leadership has been among Todd Wadena's greatest strengths throughout its 75 years. Today, Todd Wadena is served by a 7-member board: Michael Thorson, Dale Adams, Norman Krause, Gene Kern, Tom Brkachik, Marie Katterhagen, and Miles Kuschel. Mike Thorson, who in 2014 reached 40 years of service on the Todd Wadena board, has served as Todd Wadena's representative on the board of its power supplier, Great River Energy, since 2002, and as Great River Energy's board chair since 2012. 75 years ago, when that first bulb glowed near Verndale, no one knew it was the beginning of a new way of life. Electricity has gone from being a pipe dream to a status symbol to a necessity of life. Todd Wadena employees and directors are proud of the cooperative's rich 75-year history and continue to be inspired by a legacy of service that our forefathers founded. Cooperation among people is Todd Wadeni's history and its future.
I remember 2 Christmas Eves we worked till about 9 o'clock, energizing them. Just plug that meter in and the house would light up and the Christmas tree would light up. They were all ready and the kids were just tickled to death, And that was really fun. Because you went down the road and you just lit up the whole neighborhood behind you.
Yeah, I suppose there'll be a lot of changes yet coming. Yeah. It'll never be no end.